Good evening, one and all. It's been a long, stressful day, but I'm committed to getting together with you at least once a week and share my thoughts with you, and that's what I'm going to do. Do have a few things that I want to discuss at this time. First thing is, today is Earth Day, and it's been going on since 1970, 49 years. And it's now celebrated in over 100 countries. It's a holiday that we don't take off for, but it is a day to just think about the planet and things that we can do to save it. Why people think it's, ready to self-destruct or be destroyed by human beings. I don't know why people think that way. I don't. But I do believe that we should try to conserve and not pollute, not throw trash out of the streets, not throw things away that can be recycled. I try to do that. I'm all for doing anything that is not going to cause us to have to make some, significant sacrifices in our personal lives. It's all well and good for people who put these ideas down in paper and ask us to do it. But if they're not going to do it themselves, then obviously it's not something that's really practical to do. I was listening to the news this morning as I was getting ready for work, and I wish I knew more about the issues that I'm going to discuss this evening. Usually I'm in a complete news blackout over the weekends. So when I do this on the weekends, I can't always reflect on current events, and I try to talk about issues that are kind of ongoing that we can all relate to. But anyway, what I heard on the news this morning was that, I didn't know this, but China is taking about 25% of our recyclables. So now they're not doing it because they themselves are starting to implement all kinds of green initiatives, and they don't want our garbage. So I really don't understand the point in recycling if it's just going to end up in a landfill in another country. So okay, not in our backyard, but you can go ahead and take our garbage. Really odd. I didn't know that. So I still want to recycle. My understanding is that plastics are not biodegradable, and they just sit in landfills for dozens, if not hundreds of years. And I'd like to see those things be put to use again. I don't like the idea of going back to the little squeegee bottles. Remember, we used to do a lot of that. Now it's just so convenient for everybody to have just a simple little water bottle, not the reusable ones, but the ones that already come, bottled water. The plastics that contain the bottled water, people just use those and throw them away, and they should be recycled. But if there's nowhere to send this stuff off to, then it may not be such a good idea to be drinking bottled water anymore. And again, that's going to obligate some people to try to make some adjustments in their lives if it's something they're used to doing. And it may not be an adjustment some people are willing to make, but I don't drink bottled water. I probably don't get as much water as I should, so I don't have a problem with that. I am the kind of guy that likes to turn light switches off in rooms that I'm not using, so I do try to conserve energy. But it saves money, so it's practical to try to save money in that sense. So I'm all for any type of habits that saves the environment, if it's going to save money, and and have and make a meaningful difference in our lives. So enough about Earth Day. It's just not really all that interesting, and I've already spent more time than I really wanted to spend on it. Over the weekend, and I found out about this from my mother, and I'll be honest, I really don't know much about it, but there has been a bombing in Sri Lanka. Yesterday was Easter Sunday, and a lot of Christians were worshiping, and they were in churches, and about, I believe, 5 churches were bombed in some hotels, and about 200 people have been killed, 500 have been injured, including some Americans are either in the injured or they're in the fatalities category. I don't know which ones they're in, but there were some Americans among those affected by the bombings. And I do say bombings, not shootings, so take note, those of you who believe that violence, mass violence is only at the hands of a gunman. Not true. And wasn't true yesterday. And, it's interesting. We also had the Notre Dame Fire last week. And it seems to me, when you collect all these little incidents, it seems to me that there is some type of hatred towards Christians, and you don't hear much about that. But you gotta wonder, and then you gotta wonder why they don't talk about things like that when the journalist seems to overanalyze so many things that are just, to me, not important. But something like this is, and I was getting ready for work, and I did hear a little bit about the bombings, and it was referred to as a tragedy, and that bothers me because the word tragic has a sort of a sadness connotation to it, and I think that that's the wrong way to react to events such as that. I think there should be a righteous indignation. We should be angry. We should be trying to find out who did this and why, and go after them and try to capture them. And we don't have that. We just have, oh wow, isn't that so sad? Well, yeah, that is true, but it's more than that. It's wrong, and we need to get to the bottom of it, find out why it happened, and bring people to justice. And it's just very upsetting that that's not the kind of reaction that people in the news have. There's a lot of odd things going on in society, and I think it's trying to move us into a certain direction, trying to get us away from how we have all grown up and the way we've always lived. And we've always lived the way we live because it works, and if it's not broken, I don't see why it should be fixed. Yes, we do have some problems. Yes, we've come a long way in trying to remedy those problems. But sometimes I think it gets to the point where people are just all up in arms over nothing, When I talk about things that are happening that never happened before, another thing that I heard about on the news this morning is I didn't even know this, but there is a statue, I believe, of Kate Smith, the woman who sang the national anthem or Star Spangled Banner. I don't know which song she sang, but she sang a patriotic song. She's very well known for it. Maybe God Bless America. But anyway, I think she has a statue anyway somewhere, and they're talking about taking it down because of something in her character. I don't know if they're saying she's a racist. Forgive me, I don't remember. But that's not the point. The point is that this statue was erected, God only knows when. It's been up all this time, and now all of a sudden it offends you. So what is going on here? It's one of many statues that are being threatened to be taken down. And what is the big deal? We have also a presidential candidate, affectionately referred to as Mayor Pete, because his last name is a bitch to pronounce. I believe it's Buttigieg, and I'm only going to say it one time, that's it. So anyway, Mayor Pete is a married gay man, and I don't know if he's announced his candidacy yet for president in 2020, but he's exploring. And I've heard some comments that he's made. He's very, what's the word? He's very soft-spoken. I can appreciate that. Very calm. I like that. He's got a very cute little schoolboy, wholesome appearance. I can appreciate that too. He's 37 years old, so he's a young guy, and probably would be the youngest president if elected, and probably would only be the second gay president, but the first openly gay president. And we don't really know if President Buchanan was actually gay, but that's what I'm referring to. Some of the things that he says, he's trying to really not speak on policy so much. I'm kind of interested in what he has to say. I like his personality, but, I don't vote based on personality or, what, ethnic group or cultural group you belong to. It's based on what your policies are. And I think that will start trickling out over time. But some of the things he has talked about, one is he's been criticizing Vice President Pence over him being, very religious. And I just think it's just a losing proposition. It's just not something that, he's not running against Vice President Pence. I think I kind of know why he's doing it. I myself have grown up in gay culture, and I know that a lot of gay people, or I should say a lot, but many gay people have felt ostracized by religion. So if you have one of your own kind of, giving it to the people that have been giving it to you all your life growing up, it makes you feel kind of good. But really, I think Mayor Pete doesn't have to really do much to get the gay vote. I really don't think he has to do much. Gay people are going to assume he's one of them. He's a Democrat. He is pro-choice. Check. He's not going to have a problem. So I don't know why he's getting into that, but I don't want to take sides. Really, I don't. But I just see this constant attack on religion and Christianity in particular, and Catholicism. I just see it, and I just think it's unwarranted. Yes, Christians have done things to gay people and people in general who are non-believers, whatever. They made all kinds of threats, you're going to burn in hell, this and that. And that's awful. But I think most Christians have gotten away from that. They just want to be able to, worship in peace and be left alone. And hey, I'm all for that. You do your thing, we'll do our thing. That's fine. And I think gay people have been persecuted, and now they want to turn around and be a part of persecution directed towards Christians. Forcing Christians to bake a cake for a gay wedding. If it's against their religious beliefs, I don't believe they should be obligated to do it. All right? That's just a for instance. There's got to be other people that can bake a cake for you. You don't have to go to somebody and say, I want you to violate your faith and bake this cake for me. At the same time, I don't think that that Christian should be approaching a gay person and say, I don't approve of you of being in a same-sex relationship, and I think you need to end that relationship. I don't agree with that either. I think everybody should leave each other alone. And I just don't see the persecution coming from Christian towards gay people. I just see the persecution being directed towards Christians. But I don't know that it's necessarily by gay people, but it's kind of like on behalf of gay people, it seems. And I just don't agree with any of it. I think gay people have the right to marry now, and I think it's important that they do what they can to protect their rights, but I don't think anybody else needs to give up their rights. And if you take away Christians' rights to go to church and feel safe, by making them feel unsafe, then they're not really able to worship, right? If you tell your government to force them to do things that are against their religion, such as maybe providing them paying their contraceptives and stuff like that. Catholics don't believe in contraception. Some of the purists. So you can't force them to do things that are against their religion any more than you should be forcing people to only engage in heterosexual behavior. All right. So that's all I have to say on the subjects. If I missed anything, ask me or tell me. And I appreciate you watching, listening, and hopefully agreeing. That's all I have for you tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate your curiosity to hear what I have to say. Whether you agree with it or not, I want you to know I'm always thinking about a variety of issues and sharing them with you. You may not agree with me this time, but next time you will, and vice versa. It is important that you subscribe to my videos because they are the best kept online secret. You may never find them again, and I would like us to remain in touch. That means not only subscribing, but giving a video a thumbs up when you agree and commenting when you don't. I'm also interested in reading and replying to what you think.